content provided in this presentation is for entertainment and informational purposes only, and does not constitute trading or investment advice, recommendation, or endorsement. Financial market trading carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. You could lose more than your initial investment. Always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any trading or investment decisions. You are solely responsible for your trading actions and their outcomes.
And a very good morning again. Welcome back to the Sigma FX trading live stream. It is Wednesday, the 10th of June 2026. We are here today looking at the charts live. We've already been on this morning. If you did miss the World Football trading special earlier, do have another look. We did speak about our trading competition, so do check the link in the description. Look at the Sigma FX Trading 2026 World Football giveaway. The code for today will be given out later on. If you have missed the earlier codes in the other streams, you'll need to look back. You do need a code to enter. Lots of ways to enter for the chance to win 2026 Mexican pesos. If we reach 1,000 subscribers by the World Cup final day, we will do the draw during halftime. If not, we'll run it week to week until we reach that milestone. Enter today's code. We've got Sigma FX Trading on YouTube. Do visit us, do like and subscribe. We need to get up to 1,000 subscribers for the competition to be drawn. It's a free entry, no barrier to entry draw. You do need to be over 18, however, but get in there, get liking, get subscribing. Do follow us on Instagram. Follow the Apex Brotherhood official Instagram if you do want to join. Apex Brotherhood official. Do have a look at the link in the description and join us there. Follow Apex Brotherhood on Instagram and Rebel Trader on YouTube. These are the opportunities you have to increase the number of entries you have in the free prize draw. It is a sweepstake, free to enter, and get 10 bonus entries if you manage to complete all these tasks. It's the Sigma FX World Football giveaway for 2026. World Cup starts I think it's the launch day today, isn't it? The Fivers prop firm are also doing a competition. You can enter, predict the scores, and trade against other traders. You may have missed that boat, right enough. So do have a look in the description. Do have a look at the competition. Do like and subscribe. Just remember, it's all for fun. This is entertainment, but we will look at the charts today. Let's have a look at the news for today. Okay, so we're looking at what's in the news today. 1:30 p.m. London time, we have core inflation, inflation rate, core inflation year on year, inflation rate year on year, all for the US dollar. 1:30 p.m. London time. Be aware if you are in any dollar trades today. That's what's happening. News ahead, high impact. Then going into the loonie at 2:45 p.m. London time. Bank of Canada interest rate decision. Do have a look at that as well. Be cautious, be cautious. Donald Trump on Truth Social, what's he saying today? We have lots of endorsements for the internal politics of the United States. We also have confirmation that CENTCOM launched strikes against Iran overnight in response to the US Army Apache helicopter, which was in Strait of Hormuz, which is a long way away from American territory. That's Omani and Iranian territory. So a helicopter incursion into that area of not international waters was shot down. That's the dangers of entering a war zone. But the United States are responding. The Apache helicopter will have a proportional response to unjustified Iranian aggression. Iran still remains under blockade and under attack from the United States and Israel, so Iran defending its shores with these offensive or defensive strikes, whatever way you want to look at it. But a number of American air bases have suffered strikes overnight in response to that response by the United States, with obviously CENTCOM not confirming that, but it looks like there's been strikes in Manama at the US 5th Fleet headquarters there, and in Jordan at the staging post American Air Base there. Looks like some direct strikes where F-15 Strike Eagles are based, I believe. Nothing much else happening. It is into overnight territory now in America, so Donald Trump is quiet, but we do have these actions in the Middle East. Let's have a look at first, Scott, see if there's anything happening. Obviously, Foreign Minister Aragachi in Iran is saying if you do come to our territory, you risk losing your assets. They're also claiming to have shot down another Reaper drone overnight, making the number of Reaper drones shot down by the Iranians something like into the 30s or 40s. You know, that's $20 billion worth of Reapers destroyed by Iran. So it's a costly war for the United States citizens who are paying for it all. But ultimately, we'll all pay out our pockets as the markets react and money comes in and out and gets taken from the value of the dollar or the pound or whatever currency you have sitting in your pocket. The payment for all these things comes due, and it comes due in the markets, and that's why we look at it. So the markets, what are they showing us? China's BYD has quietly killed its $1 billion Turkey factory 2 years after a high-profile signing. Okay, so BYD, I drive a BYD incidentally. Fantastic little car. Electric, costs me next to nothing to run. It's amazing technology. It's fast as well. You put the foot down, it literally jumps into the air and lurches forward to beat some of these supercars, no bother, and it's just a little electric motor running it. European energy markets have been strangely calm since the outbreak of war in Iran, but that might be about to change. Yeah, looks like there's a lot of suppression being put on by governments by manipulating the cost of energy and relying on supplies and contingency supplies. They're now beginning to run out. Most markets will have run out of their contingencies to make up for the shortfall caused by the Iranian invasion, or the invasion of Iran by midsummer, and just at the point where you're needing heat less in the northern hemisphere, so could be a difficult winter as demand goes up if supply is not available. And it's all about supply and demand, as we know, in the markets. So Ukraine has been successfully destroying several key facilities across Russia, but also in Mariupol port in Russia, occupied Ukraine. They've almost managed to cut off the supply routes into Crimea, also making that a difficult place to be living at the moment, with also other strikes in some defence industry, factory manufacturing across the Russian territory, with Flamingo intercontinental ballistic missiles now coming into their own and able to penetrate deeper into Russian territory. So Russia facing great strain as the Ukrainian fight back for its sovereign lands continues in that region. So we've got a lot of financial news, some stuff coming out of Japan, some domestic politics. I can't say his name. Aragachi warns Gulf states have legal and moral responsibility to prevent US-Israeli strikes. Obviously Iran targeting its neighbours who are hosting the United States, saying, well, you will host the aggressor, so expect to be targeted. Israel also targeted over the weekend, but it doesn't look like there's been much resumption of missile fire between Iran and Israel in the latest rounds of attacks. Although Iran does warn that it's going to target the source of any attack, so bases, logistical facilities, etc., used to support military operations against the country. So it's escalating in the Middle East rather than de-escalating. That's what we're seeing on the charts. Let's go back to having a look at our chart today. So we did get a couple of entries in Bitcoin and a little early. I should have looked at this. Well, can we get our trade history up? So we got in here, you know, not a sensible point to get in hindsight. So this is why, as I was saying earlier in the live stream, my intention is to do a review of what I'm doing wrong, and what I've done wrong here is clearly the 15-minute is showing us we're going up, yet I have taken a trade short. So why would you trade against what is happening in the moment? And in the moment the 15-minute was going up. However, we have got a better entry here. Does look like it's on the turn. It's reached this over bought area here on the RSI. It's consolidating on the lines. They've not crossed yet. It's still not, the entry should still not have happened, but we'll see, because if I'd waited and just say it comes down to here and we do get then what would be the confirmation of it going short here, we've still got this entry here, which is not the best of entries. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for it to come down to here. We'll keep an eye on the lower time frames to work out what's happening. We can see that the dollar is losing strength just on my strength chart. We can see that the momentum of the dollar, well, we can't really see the momentum. Okay, yeah, it's a difficult one. It does look like it's going to range, and this will be resistance. So we'll maybe look to get out if it gets down to here. So we'll put an alert on at the low, just to remind us that maybe we should just be exiting this trade if it's showing signs of reversing back up, to do another cycle of the range that it's in, because I do not want to be stuck in this if it decides to start going higher. So we need to look out for early indications of that happening. So we're short Bitcoin. The problem is Bitcoin dollar, we're long euro dollar, we're long pound dollar from the earlier entries. How are they looking? We'll go on to them next. The euros, well, they're not really moved much. They're just meandering. It's still early days. It's only 9:10 as we get to the quarter hour on the 9 o'clock. We'll look to see if there's any more interest on movement and choosing a direction for today. So we're in a little bit earlier in all these trades. They all were done pre 8 o'clock. So it's one of those things where it's not great to trade over the open. Don't do it, boys and girls. It's not a sensible option. You're better off wait until now. And if we'd done that, we would have seen that, yeah, Bitcoin is about to turn down. It's not turned down yet. We don't have confirmation. What's the hourly telling us? Oh, it's telling us it's meandering and it's up. It's up. So again, we're on the wrong direction of this. So ideally, we want to be sensible and just get out this trade until it says, until it shows our hand. So let's just get out. We're going to get out. We're going to manage out rather than just jump out with 2 feet into, you know, you do that and then what does it do? It just continues in the direction you wanted it to go in the first place. So we're set our take profit there just to break even on this trade potentially. See what that takes us to. We'll delete that trade above and we'll just pull our stop in and just say, well, if it turns back up and goes back up, we're going to have to just bite the bullet here, because If it continues up, then we need to get out. So this is the kind of trading, not the entry, but this honesty about being wrong is the kind of trading that benefited my account in February, March, and now, and because I was getting so many winning days, and you know, I doubled an account in 6 weeks, I then got the belief I could do no wrong. So we're going to let that close out for $14-15, cover our costs for the mistake. We'll be out break even if it takes that exit there, roughly. $10 would be safer. So we'll let it come back down to there. Excuse me. We'll let it come back down. And then we can have another look at it. You know, it's down in 5 minutes, so we're happy it's down just now. Happy it's heading for that target. 15 minutes is turning, so yeah, it is turning. But now that the hour is saying it's up, it's a foolish trade. It was a foolish trade, I've got to say. So we're learning as we go, and maybe that's what this channel will become more about, is how to cope and address degenerative behaviour. We'll take off that alert now that it's no longer relevant, and that is degenerative, what I've done there. So we'll see how that pans out. It's looking a little bit uppy just now on the 5 minutes, but we're still okay. It's not got much ground to cover here. If it comes up to here, then we're definitely wrong. We'll just tighten that in here. Lose less. Best loser wins, as they say in trading. We'll just keep at the top of that volley there, just as at the turn of it. That's find that the volley, or lining up with the top of a volley, is kind of a safe way, as it pops in and takes the $100. So worst we can lose is 0.1%. It was a silly mistake to make. You guys in the chat should have kept me right. If you are in the chat, do say hello this morning. Do let me know what you're trading, if you would like anything looked at. So we're just looking at the Bitcoin here, seeing what it's doing, hoping to get out. It's not got far to go. It's giving us a little bit of resistance here on the moving average of the volley. We are in a little bit of an uptrend even on the 5 minutes, and it is the down move is slackening off. We're getting a rounded retest on the RSI. Potentially looking to turn to the upside, I've got to say. It looks like it's bouncing. So are we ready just to kill this and call it quits before it goes to the $100? Well, we'll see what it does on the 1 minute here. There's another chance for it to turn again. It could just be a rounded retest of the 50 on the RSI, on the RSI on the 5 minute. We're down to the 1 minute now. It's pushing up. If that volley opens up and starts swinging higher and goes above these highs on the 1 minute, then we're probably looking to get out. That's the quarter past mark, so that's the 15-minute candle already in. We're seeing if it's going to turn down. So it's not quite closed out the top of the 1 minute there, so there's still room to close on this 1 minute candle to the upside. So we'll see what it does. It looks like it's going for that fair value gap first. So is that a chance to get out of our trades? What is our overall profit? What is our overall loss? We'd be better taking $50 loss than the $100. So I am just going to kill it now. But just move my camera slightly, which is in the way of hiding my price, because I hide my price behind my camera. So we're good to go, and we're good to close, and we're good to just close that down as it heads lower. Yeah, we'll just come out now. Okay, that was nice. So out for less than $50 loss, but we're out the trade and we're out the danger zone. We'll see what it does now. doesn't matter, we're out, so what it does now doesn't matter. But so we're heading down in the one, well, the 1 minute is about to turn down, as we thought it might. 5 minute is turned down and is probably resisting that 50. Is it going to go all the way to here? Could we have got out for the $15? Doesn't matter now. Looks like it's going to be fair. But it was sensible to just exit the trade, because you don't know what's going to happen, especially when there's signs of it still being to the upside on this, although it's wanting to turn. It's not quite yet, so the signals are there that we are going down, but the hour is still up, so we're better not trading against something that's showing us it's rising. It has been lower here, has been at this extreme low, so and it's above the 50 here, so I think that was a sensible move. It is showing me it's more to the upside than the downside now. So if I'm in a short trade, then you want to be out. Why would you not want to be out a trade that's going in the wrong direction? You could convince yourself you were right and you'll get a better entry, but that is the stupidity that has cost me money over the last couple of months. So we're tackling that head on. I'm doing it live on stream. You're bearing witness to the recovery period here. You know, we're done not bad there. It's heading back up. It is bouncing off that. We are getting a turn in here in the 5 minutes, so that's telling us that we can still retest these highs here. So yeah, it would have been a longer journey to get out for a better price, but I'm happy we've come out here. We'll come back to that before the end of the stream. Do remind me if I don't. We'll come back and have a look and see what is happening there. So that's that trade. That's Bitcoin. That was just a foray into Bitcoin this morning. I went on and I impulsively took a trade this morning. We'll see how that pans out over the course of the stream this morning. Only looking to do about an hour this morning. We'll be on between 9 and 10. So it's good to have you here. Welcome to the stream. What did everyone do on gold yesterday? We'll have a quick look at gold. We'll bring the gold chart over. I got smashed out for a stop loss and about here as it came down. Was it down? Oh my goodness, that's a mess, isn't it? I can't see what any of that is. I don't like it when it puts the prices in on our sorry. Yeah, I don't like it when it puts our prices in on this chart. So let's just have a look at the indicators here on the other screen. Pivot. I don't want the show pivot points, show Fibonacci levels, show price. It says false level labels. Yes. So it shouldn't be showing these according to the settings. Should just have the central pivot, show central pivot range. Central pivot range should be on there. Pivot points should be on there. Time frame daily. Yeah, it should be daily. Max days. So I've got it going back 10 days, but we shouldn't have the. There we go. That's better. It's reset itself. It was just having a. Oh, the central pivot range is the. Okay, I've not used that before. So that's an interesting one, because when it is in this central range, it's not really made up its mind. So it might be interesting to keep this one on and see what it does. But we can see from today, I mean, the central pivot is the average of the previous day high versus the previous day low versus the previous day close. Is that correct? I believe that's the case. It's the average of that, so that's where it appears the next day. And where you've got a range here, I don't know what the range dictates. Let's ask my good friend Gemini on the other screen, we'll go for ChatGPT. I like ChatGPT on its free version. DeepSeek is good as well. DeepSeek is good for some things. Gemini, I'm using Gemini as more my personal AI at the moment. Oh, I'm not getting a great. It's taking forever. I think the streaming certainly uses up a lot of the bandwidth of my processor. Although I do have multi-core. I think I've got like 16-core processor with 64 gigs of RAM. But it just shows you how much pressure it's under, even just doing a live stream and having, well, about 30 charts open. Maybe not as many as that. Maybe 20 what have I got? 20. I'll have 22 pairs open. Plus we've got my monitoring screen. Plus we've got my gold chart and Bitcoin chart. Yeah, probably in the region of 25 MT5 charts open. And the MT5 does use multiple web sockets, and you're limited by how many cores you've got. It's very complicated, but I don't really know myself. ChatGPT is not wanting to play, unfortunately. I do not know what is going on here. OpenAI, ChatGPT, is it OpenAI? Right, we're on it. So let's have a look. We'll see. Central pivot range. Let's ask it. So we've got CPR and we've got central pivot range, upper and lower. How are they calculated? It'll tell us. Right, let's have a look. Central pivot range, upper lower. Central pivot range is a popular trading tool used to identify potential support, resistance, and market bias for the next trading session. Pivot point, yeah, the central line. So that's our blue line here. That's the one I usually use. The lower boundary over the range, the bottom central. I think they've got that labelled the wrong way around, because I'm sure when I hovered, oh sorry, I've lost that. CPR bottom, it's saying that for the one above, and CPR top. So that's not right. So that's the wrong way around. But yeah, so it's the wrong way around. They've got them on the indicator, which is odd. Lower boundary, yeah. Top should be sent, upper boundary. Anyway, it's odd they've got that wrong. So, you know, you've got one job, design an indicator, and it doesn't come up right. Okay, so central pivot range. So as I said, using the previous day's high, low, and close, it's the high plus the low plus the close. So it is the average of the high and low of the previous day's candle and the closing price, and divided by 3. So that gives us the average of those 3 levels. And then the bottom range is the high plus the low divided by 2. So the bottom central, so it's the high of the previous day plus the low of the previous day. So that's exactly the midpoint. So that would be your, that would be the midpoint of high and low, correct? So high, low, and close. Midpoint of high and low divided by 2 is the middle of the previous day's candle, from the top to the bottom. So from spike to spike. And the top central range, okay, so the bottom could be above the bottom central. So it could be. And the top central is the P minus BC plus P. What to P, right, so P, we need a translation of what the P is. Oh, P is the pivot point. So calculate the top central. So the pivot point is calculated by the average, less the bottom central point, which is the midpoint of the previous day's candle. So the midpoint could be higher or lower than the pivot point, okay? So we've got the pivot point minus the bottom central, okay? So that could be a positive or a negative, depending if the bottom central is above. So the bottom central could be above or below. It's annoying how it's called bottom when it could be above or below the pivot, plus the pivot. So that's the pivot minus bottom central. Why is P minus BC plus P not just BC? Or equivalently, is it P minus BC plus P? If you've got P minus something, then add it. P minus BC plus P minus BC. That's like 1 minus 2 plus 1. 1 minus 2 plus. So that would end up just being 1. So why not just minus 2? Hang on. 1 minus 2 would be minus 1 plus 1 is 0. Or we just say, oh no, that's not. Yeah. Okay. What am I missing here? What am I missing from that? I don't get that. I need to explain the calculation of the top central. Yeah, right. Let's ask it to explain that. Explain. Let's see if it does first. Explain. Explain the calculation of the top central pillock. I'm the pillock because I don't understand it. Should I be doing this live on stream? Probably not. Probably not. But it's good. This is the thought process you go through when you're looking for indicators, and you really do. I think it's good to explain it. It's good to explain it, and it's good to see J Blogs is on this morning. I'm highlighting the chat, but I don't seem to have any visible chat coming up on the screen. Why not? Why not? Oh, there it is. Bit delayed. Don't think I'm delayed. Good old Scott. Good. I've already read your chat, Jay, but I'll bring it up anyway, as soon as you're the only person chatting. 100 lots, 1 minute charts. Yeah, absolutely. That joke never gets old. Never gets old. And what about if you put the P in the V? Now, let me have a look at that. Explain well, I'll ask it to explain what that means. Maybe ask ChatGPT, or maybe not. Jay, thank you for the humour. Good to see you on here this morning. Thank you for all the other viewers as well. It's good to see we've got the numbers notching up every day as we reach our milestone of 1,000 subscribers. Looking forward to getting there. It's a slow process. It's like trading. One small step for Scott is a giant leap for trader kind. Right, where were we up to? We're up to looking, before we started talking about the chat here. So top central, I'm not getting that top central calculation, and whether or not that can be above or below. Let's move that out of the way just now. Yeah, the bottom could be above the central when we're in an uptrend. Would that be correct? If the candle is opening, if the next daily candle is opening higher, like for instance, maybe here. Oh man, MT5 does my head in sometimes. Well, there's the bottom on the bottom there, and there's the bottom on the top there. So what about you, Jay? You more of a top or more of a bottom? That's the question. I think that's the top, that's the bottom, that's the bottom, that's the top. Yeah, so when the candle is a positive, if it's a green candle, I don't know. That does kind of make sense in a way. So we're seeing, it provides a range anyway, and I suppose the range is dependent on what way the previous candle went in order to to know. I'm glad you found that funny, Jay. I'm trying not to be offensive. So, yeah, it depends on what way the price action's going, what way the previous candle is gone, because the top and the bottom and the average would be different depending on the direction of the candle from the close, because the close would be lower in a bearish candle, and it would be higher in a bullish candle, which would switch the CPRs round given those calculations. I still don't understand the top central. Why is that in brackets? What difference does that make to... I'm still not getting that. So that's 1 minus 2 is minus 1, plus 1 is 0. 1 minus 2 is minus 1, plus 1 is 0. Okay. Or we just... But then that's only minus 2, but minus 2 is plus 2. No, but it's not minus 2, it's minus 2, it's just 2. So, minus 2 is minus 2, so it's not the same. It's not the same. Right, okay, I get it. But why do you have to subtract it from it and then add it back to it? It's not the same thing you're adding and subtracting. It's BC that's been subtracted on the one hand, and then it's... So it's like double... Yeah, well, there it is, actually. Explained exactly below. I was going to say it's like double P. I was going to say it's like a double P plus a BC. Or minus a BC. Yeah, so it's double P. It's double P minus BC. So double P would be 2 times your pivot less your bottom central. So bottom central sounds like the sort of club that you'd go to, Jay. Let's have a look at the previous day's high. Okay, right. Okay, I'm getting that. I'm not sure what the relevance of it is. I would need to ask my friend ChatGPT what the relevance is. Let's have a look and see if it tells us. We've gone down a rabbit hole here, haven't we? Narrow CPR often indicates potential for a strong trending day. Okay, so a narrow CPR so often indicates potential for a strong trending day. A wide CPR often indicates a range for range bound. Okay, right. So that makes sense for me to have that. I can anticipate big price action or tight price action or a bouncing day. And I think we're certainly looking like we're bouncing today. That was the feeling of the early look at the charts we did at 7 AM this morning. That was giving us that kind of sense that it was just caught in a range. So if the price is above CPR, yeah, bullish bias, that's the way I've used that. If it's below CPR, bearish bias. Price inside the CPR. Okay, so I've just been using the CPR as the blue level here, so the central pivot range. I suppose it's not a range, is it? The range is created by the upper and lower bars, so yeah, it's been silly not to have them now that I consider it, but I do like the idea of this within it and it being wide or tight, and that giving us an indication of volatility or a strong trending day, because it often at the start of the day it does pre-London end up right in that kind of range, and it doesn't hold it. The line, the midline or the pivot line doesn't hold much weight, not as much as in relation to the resistance lines, but it does hold weight when it comes away from it and goes back. But at that time of the day it can go either side of it. For instance, we were below the line on Aussie dollar this morning, above the line on euro, but euro was already telling us it was momentum and strength to the upside, and dollar was momentum and strength to the downside, and Aussie was just following the dollar with momentum and strength to the downside. So kind of holds a little, yeah, there's a lot of weight in there. It's a good indication of where it's going, you know. So CPR is usually calculated from previous to OHLC, so for intraday trading. Those swing traders may use previous weeks or months data. Okay, right, that explains that a little bit. We got there. I hope we're not too bored with that 20-minute chat on what we're working out on the CPR, but it's good to have that there. Okay, so you'll now see an extra line, an extra 2 lines on my chart, just what I'm needing. More indicators, but it is an indicator I have been using for almost the entirety of my whole trading time, and I do find it valuable. I certainly find the resistance lines valuable, you know, time after time. I mean, we can see even from this chart here how these levels are respected. You know, it's old trading. It's one of the first things I saw in trading. When what got me into trading was buying and selling euros. I was buying property in Spain. I had put my money into euros when I thought the rate was good. Then I could see that I would make a profit if I sold it back into pounds, anticipating that, you know. I then saw on the trading currency apps, you could see the charts, and then I looked and I was like, oh no, well, there's patterns here, or it goes down to, when it gets down to certain pound levels or euro levels, it turns, and it goes, once it gets to 3/4 of that, it switches back direction again for a bit, and then I was like, and then I thought there's bound to be a way to analyze this and find a profitable path of some indicator of when to get in and out. And one of the things on the chart that I was looking at, I can't remember what it was xe.com or something like that. It was just a currency exchange free platform type thing. I mean, I just had the money in a bank account, you know, I didn't have it in a trading account or anything. And I was looking at how, and I made a few 100,000, well, not 100,000, but a few hundred, and then the end, a few £1,000 profit out of just moving it back and forward, as I thought that's a good price. And that, oh, it's dropped off a bit, I'll sell that to make a profit, and then I'll put the money back in once it changes. So, or once it changes direction again. So I kept doing that and just skimmed off the profit off the top and kept the amount of euros needed to be about the same, as that price wasn't changing for me. Anyway, and support and resistance lines were one of the things on the xe.com chart, or it gave you it didn't give you a line, it just gave you the support and resistance prices. So we can see how well they're respected. We can see that even as we go here, that's just bounced right off support 2 on this is gold, so support 2, and it's come back up. It's crashed a little bit through support 1 here. I mean, the previous day it's basically bounced exactly between resistance 1 right through support 1 and support 2, then back up to support 1 before the end of the day. You know, it's, if you took that price action there, looking at the lower chart, you would see it. That's your bounce that we got, as we could see on the chart here. Let's have a look. You know, there's your bounce. It's not quite reaching it, you know, when you look at like everything, I mean, it's held support 1 a little bit. It's who guessed the reversal there, only for it to crash back down again. It almost got there on this at support 2. I mean, it's in the ballpark, and then back up, and then it's turned exactly on support 1 again to bounce back down right to support 2 this time. It's finally reached it. You know, we can argue that it's not, because there's still 18 pips there on gold, but you should only ever be trading, you're in the middle third portion of these moves, you know, from here to here. If you trade the thirds, yeah, it's a good trading thirds. That could be a good thing to bring up with my chat GPT, with my AI counselling session later on, nailing down my issues with trading. If you just stuck with the thirds there, you'd be a nice 250 pips each direction you would have got each time out, in and out, and you would have avoided this consolidation here if you did the same here. A nice 300 pips if you'd got in the short there. Is there an indication it was going short? Oh yes, there is, because there's the cross on the 4 hour. Would you have immediately got in there? Probably not, because that's on the 15 minute. So that is a nice cross there. You're not quite getting your third, but it's still a lot of pips. And you're staying safe, because these are the points where it does change direction and catches people out, or you guess it is changing direction, you get in too early, only for it to continue in the direction it was going. So these are the points where the market makes its mind up. So that's my big sales pitch, I suppose, unintended, not planned, for the old support and resistance levels. And I've discovered something new, and I haven't even been saying that over the last few streams, that it's more of a zone around these levels, but that central pivot range with the pivot, the bottom and the top, just shows you that there's more to it than what, or it shows you I was kind of in the right thinking around it, that it was a zone. However, it's good also to know that, for instance, today it was saying, there's a tighter one yesterday, so a tighter one indicates volatility, whereas we've got a wider one today. And if we've got a wider one today, does that indicate less volatility? But we've had a shitload of volatility already, going down to here. So, what's gold doing just now? We'll have an actual look at what it's doing. We're well away. It's looking bearish, isn't it? But we're also bearing in mind at this S2 pivot. Does it want to go down further? Let's look at it in the hour. We're touching the S2 pivot with a spike just to it. Is it quite at it? Maybe not quite at it. Could it still go down again? Yes. Is it likely to come back up and recover this territory? Possibly. The hour's telling us it's turning up, but it's also telling us it's not turned up yet. What's 15 minute telling us in the same vein? It's still saying, it's telling us it's got down here, but it's still down. So we're not turned up yet, but we have been into oversold here. So we're in the process of turning up, but I would be cautious. And as I said, if we're looking to trade the middle third, that's 50 pips, point to point. So if you want to put in a trading arena, so to speak, in this area, you're only, I'll change that to a colour that's not going to get me mixed up with anything else. We'll just go for purple. I do like purple. So 5,000, so 4.5, so that's 1.5, say 1.6 or something, 1.7. That'd be right. If we're taking our middle third, what was it, 5,000, splitting it into 3, 1,650 a piece. Seems an awful lot to go down there. Probably into here. Get another line in. 1,650. Doesn't give you much zone, but it's probably telling us the truth here about what we should be doing. this is me just thinking aloud. If this is our middle zone here, so we're potentially wanting to trade it from there to there, get our 1500 pips, or there to there and back again. If we'd done that this morning, we would have 1500, 3000, 4005 would be on our fourth round of that would have been 600 pips. Has it given us signals that it wanted to do that? Potentially not here. Potentially it has crossed here. Yeah, we could have gotten long here based on that cross here and the oversold here, and then we could have gotten yeah, maybe not the down, maybe not this first down leg, as that's a continuation down, but that hasn't crossed, so we could have stayed in that trade. But there's we would have been out here anyway. So we have got in here. I would say that's probably would have been a riskier entry. It's not liking this level. There's still too much indecision. Would we have got in at this point? Potentially, we've got that divergence in the MACD lines. Would the strength have told us to remain short? Yeah, I think there's potential for this to be put into the strategy, I've got to say. Then we get across here, we would have been out potentially in this line. So this is maybe the way to do it. What we can do also is when I'm looking at journaling, I'm also saying to myself that the actual positioning of these lines, I mean, we've got the middle third here, but could it be closer? Could it be, where does it get down to an average? You know, there's within 50 pips of the line of the support. There's within 50 pips of what has become resistance, or 70 pips, sorry. So there's the potential for it to be just taking the middle bit of each move. And that's what every successful trader generally does. It's not squeezing out every pip and not getting in at every single turn. It's getting that middle point and being satisfied that that's what you're doing, and having the patience to wait on it, and the courage to get out even though you think there might be more to take. Just take what you can when you can, and forget about it if it goes double the distance again. That double the distance is risky. You don't know it's going to do it. Just it has pretty much stopped there. Would we have got back in here? Yeah, I believe so. Potentially would have got back in there for 80 pips or so. So we're maybe not quite squeezing out every move, but I don't think it's sensible to try and do that, and that's what my targets have been above these. It's just okay. I do have a long conversation to have with the old AI. That's what I'm working on at the moment, is trying to do what is the hard work. It's easy putting trades on. It's the hard work that keeps you profitable. And as I say, my profitability has dropped off the last couple of months. I've gone back into old habits. The promise of doing my journal is still just a work in progress, but it's time to grasp the bull by the horns, to get this executive dysfunction knocked on the head and reset the brain chemistry to allow meaningful progress and the elimination of degenerative repetitive mistake making. So it's all tied in together. How you are at everything is how you are at anything, or how you are at anything is how you are at everything. So there's a lot to be tackled. Everyone's different, but everyone is the same, and that there's much more than just trading in your life. So if there's aspects of your life that are not quite right, and be honest with yourself. No one has a perfect life, of course. Striving for perfection. For perfection, it sounds like I'm saying something strange there, but striving for perfection is not something we should be aiming for either. We should be aiming for meaningful progress and meaningful results and continuous improvement and balance. So that's my lesson for today. We're coming up for 5 to the hour. We've not looked at anything other than gold. So what are we doing with gold? What are we doing now? We're just waiting to see if it turns. It's in that zone of what I would say would be a zone of not allowing trades to be entered until it leaves the zone. Because until it leaves that zone, it's not telling us its direction, and it's at the moment it's telling us it's looking to turn, but it could still do our legs and not turn and continue lower. Although the trade that was showing lower there was certainly a lot of ground to cover. So look what's happened with our Bitcoin. Our Bitcoin has gone down to where I would have been happier to be in my trade short. We did come out it, we took the loss. We weren't happy at that point, so it's the way of it. It's the way of it. We can see it was in the process of turning here, but it hadn't yet. I did say I was going to look to get back in, but we've missed that now. It's convincingly to the downside now as the hour changed. Hour's not changed yet, so I mean but we're talking about Bitcoin, so we're really trading the hour. That's the things that I need to know. Are we or are we not? This is what my AI has been trying to drill me down on. What is the first thing you look for? What's the non-negotiable when you're about to enter the trade, or when you're first looking for a trade? What is the first thing you see that makes you think, a trade is potentially on here? To be fair, Bitcoin looks like it's going to come back into here to fill this imbalance on the entry of the new candle, because we have had this big drop here on the 9:30 candle UK time. So we could look to get back in as it comes back up to have another touch of the midline here, and it's still got room to the downside into these lows. Where was our original target? Oh, it's disappeared. Where is it? Why is it not showing? There it is. So our original target was down about here, below the lows. So why don't we just leave Bitcoin for now? I'll put an alert on here and see. That'll remind me once it gets backed up to there that I might be wanting to look to get in short and reevaluate it. I'm not going to put a pending in because the pending commits you to the trade. It really should be a case of just looking at it on the hour, and we'll make another decision and see what it's done. It's got, well, it is there now, so yeah. What's it going to do? Looks like it's going to leave that gap because I can't see it going up to there, but I would say the next candle's going to either cover the gap first, probably, and then look to go to the downside. We'll get volatility on the 10 o'clock. That's just we're 1.5 minutes away from the 10 o'clock candle. So let's have a look at our euro-dollar trades that we took this morning. So where were we on that? It's kind of just meandered, hasn't it? It's kind of ranged here. There's our target to the upside. Are we still looking to the upside? More to the point. No, we're not. We're looking to the downside. So we have that relaxation. We're getting the same relaxation on Bitcoin. We're happy to get another entry in here, but it's tight into our stop here. We're 1-to-1 if it takes all the entries. If it doesn't, is it maintaining a position? It's still holding above the central pivot range level. Pivot, only pivot, not range. It's not, yeah, we'll get a range on there. All my charts will have ranges on our next foray onto the charts. But that is all for now. Appreciated you joining me this morning. Let's have a look. Just a quick look at pound dollar. I think the pound dollar trade was looking like it's meandering as well, much the same as euro as we thought. Did we get any results on our... We had a euro New Zealand as well, because that was looking interesting from the strengths this morning. Yeah, we've missed the boat on that. Didn't quite retrace into getting our entry there. It would have got our target had it taken it. So that trade is over. So we're deleting that. It's just a shame. It never quite retraced enough. That's the danger of putting in, of expecting it to come down when it's clearly gone up. We should have maybe thought about getting our toe in the water a little bit sooner. It has just missed it by, bear in mind we got our bigger spread as well, but yeah, it's probably not quite made it there. Got within a pip of taking the order, but it's left without us, gone to target, so the trade idea is over for that one. Pound dollar, did we mention that? Yeah, we just said that's meandering as well. We're in it, so we'll see what happens. We're 1-to-1 on that as well. So take it easy, guys. Thanks again for joining me this morning. Do remember and open the competition link and join that, and like and subscribe. As I said, thanks again, and I will be back on next week, because tomorrow I am working Thursday, Friday, working Monday, Tuesday, so it'll be Wednesday next week. Is that 1 week today? It is. So take it easy. I will probably do some work on the work, some input on what I'm going to do to address my current trading, which for 2 months has been on tilt. We're surviving, we're holding on in there, but this is what happens. I take a big loss, which I did mid-April, and then it's just survival mode, and it's then just lots and lots of slow losses as I realise I'm not trading the way I should be, because I'm scared, fearful, and at times greedy. But more scared and fearful is what's making the account get closer to being unalived, as they say. So, appreciated and you joined me this morning. It's been fantastic to have some input on the chat as well. Thanks again, and we'll catch you in a week's time. Take care. Remember, trade well, manage your risk, and above all, come back next week. Catch you later. Cheers.